everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. I have with us today, he's an actor. He's in the new movie, The Mummy Murders. He plays young Joe. I have with us Cole Springer. Cole, welcome to the Horror Room, my friend.
Hey everybody.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you, man. So, tell my audience, I had the pleasure of interviewing Colin recently about the movie. But tell my audience a little bit about your role in the Mummy Murders.
So I play younger Joe, and Joe's obviously a serial killer, and I play the younger version of him before he kind of developed into what he is today. Um, he was a little more sloppy with his kills, and wasn't. I don't want to say too much to give away details, but
Yeah.
he develops over time, and so I kind of play the little amateur version where it's more of just murder, but older Joe does a little bit more than that.
Now, how was it hard for you to get into the role or the mindset of a serial killer?
Uh, Honestly, for me, obviously it's not easy for anyone, I guess, to get into that role. I don't want to sound like a psychopath,
Yeah.
but ever since I started acting, because I've been doing this for, I guess, coming on 12 years now, and for me, I'm not a method actor, but I do kind of just take over whatever character I'm portraying, and it's no longer me. So it wasn't the worst thing. Once I got to know the character, I read the script and kind of got a feel for maybe what it is. I try to dive into that relate to them. So I don't know. It wasn't the hardest part once I read the script and realized kind of who he is.
And when you went for the casting for this role and you read the script, what about it attracted you to this role?
Well, I've never done like serious horror, I'd say this, because I love horror, and to me, like horror, talking in sinister, those kind of things. Um, I've never done anything like that. The most thing I've done to that extent was something when I was 15, and it wasn't anything to this extent. I don't want to name names or anything, but so this for me was the challenge. I love doing stuff new that I haven't done before because I love that challenge of trying to do good at it.
Now, how was it working with Colin as the director? Was it pretty easy to working with him? He seems like an amazing guy.
Yeah, yeah, no, he's cool, and also Will Donahue, the writer. They were both kind of there on set. Colin was there every day. Will was most like there most of the days. And Will being the writer. But they're awesome. I've been on sets because, like I said, I've been doing it for a while now. Sometimes there's some drama on set and all that, so I really, really appreciate it when there's not. And this was one of those cases. We didn't have anyone. Everyone was there for each other, trying to get a similar goal to get done.
Now, I have a lot of viewers who are, indie actors or looking to get into the indie acting, especially
Mhm.
horror. What are some struggles that you can help them with that they might run into that they're probably not expecting?
Well, I understand that feeling, and I have a friend that is obsessed with horror movies. And it's I think the thing that might be upsetting, like let's say when I started, obviously I was 9 years old. But getting told no, not getting the role at first, it's a little upsetting, but you got to get past that. You got to get past that pretty quickly, because that's a part of the job. It's and sometimes, most of the time, it's nothing to even do with you or maybe your ability. It's just not who they were looking for. So just getting past that, getting told no, and keep trying to do what you love. Then that's all it is, really. It's just motivation and determination.
Now, is location where your geographical location does that help when it comes to getting roles?
I would say so, because, obviously this one was shot, in my area. I think most of it we shot in San Antonio, which I live right outside of San Antonio. That's definitely helped me in the past, because it's local hire. They're not paying to fly you out, put you in a hotel, because obviously that would come into play. But the roles that, like, let's say for one of the roles that I got out of state, I really, really wanted it. So I told them I'm willing to work as local hire. So even though I was states away, I told them I'll work as local hire. So I paid to fly myself out there and stuff, but I ended up getting it because of that.
Now, as a young actor, you're a young guy, but you've been doing this for a long time. Have
Mhm.
you ever got onto a set? You read a script, you accepted a part, but you got on the set and you realized this is not a good fit for me. Just working with the crew or whatever. This is just not a good fit for me.
I have had that. I have had that. Most of the time, I'll read the audition sides or the role description, and most of the time I can catch stuff that, and there's very few things that I'm not willing to do, and it just comes down to some people should deserve to have that spotlight and have that role, if that makes sense. Like I just I'm not gonna be I'm gonna butcher that word, so I'm not even gonna try. But it just takes, I think, certain people to play certain roles, and I don't want to come in and fake that, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's that's pretty much all around.
But is it a thing that like you get this part, you meet a filmmaker, you get this part, you read a script, and you get there and they want you to do things or say things that you don't want to do, or it's like a hey surprise,
Yes,
this is a
yes.
big part.
I actually had a director, and obviously, like I said, I'm not gonna name names, because it's hard to narrow it down because I've been, like I said, I did it for a while. But yeah, there is some that, will change the script up on you. I just had it happen not too long ago, and I wasn't too happy with what I was saying, but you're already there, you're already under contract. And if it was something that I thought was detrimental, obviously I would have cut it out. I would have had to put my foot down, but it wasn't anything crazy, but it has happened before. And usually, to me, it's just that's from what I've learned over time is you just don't give a second chance to that. You don't want to risk having that happen again. So
That's awesome. Now, you've been acting for a long time, and I'm pretty sure you worked with a lot of great filmmakers, actors, actresses, crews. Who is someone that you've gotten who's kind of been like a mentor or someone you've shadowed and gave you inspiration?
honestly, um, I really my whole life I haven't had like a someone, because I talk to other actors and there's always somebody, maybe a couple people that they want to be like. I've never been that way. I just kind of wanted to do my own thing. I've had a lot of things happen throughout my life as growing up and stuff, and even just getting signed to me is just kind of all fate. So I just leave it to that. And but someone that I definitely, let's say, like, looked up to or respected, was Craig Sheffer. I don't know if you remember him. He was in River Runs Through It with Brad Pitt and stuff. He's a
Yes, yes.
he's a really cool guy. I've worked with some other notable talent and stuff, but he was just a delight to be around. We actually shot some scenes at my house in that film, and they got his trailer and stuff, and he wanted to stay in my house and just talk with me and my family. He's a really cool guy. I really like him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, so what's next for you, Cole? I mean, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of projects in the future that you're in the works. Are you staying in the horror
I
genre, or is there something else you're looking to do?
I'm willing to. I'm 100% willing to. I like I said, I love the challenge, and I feel like horror is one of the only genres where it's almost never the same. To an extent, there is, like, those reruns. Like I auditioned for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. So some things that might, I won't say anymore, but I ended up booking it as, the role of Hitchhiker. I had longer hair at the time, I still kinda do, but, I yeah, but I ended up complications with other gigs that I booked that, my agent recommended me to take instead, then so I couldn't do it. But, I just feel like that's what I like about horror is it's almost never the same and it's always a challenge because it's a headspace. It's you have to really bring it if you wanna be good in horror is how I feel.
I agree. I totally agree. And
Yeah.
a lot of actors, actresses, even like a Kevin Bacon or even a Johnny Depp, they start off in horror, but that's not where they want to be. They want to move on to more drama roles, more serious roles.
Yeah.
And I mean, and so it's incredible that horror is where you want to stay.
Well, I don't wanna stay there, but 'cause I really since I was a kid, I've always liked action movies.
Mhm.
Um, that's really what I've always wanted to do, but I like doing all genres, like, don't get me wrong. The coming of age stuff, I've done a couple of them, and it doesn't resonate with me as much, because in my opinion, unless there's, like, crying scenes or something, there's not much to showcase talent there, and that's why I was talking about horrors, because that's a great way to show talent, and but action, I've always loved. I've always loved it. We were talking earlier about who you, like, look up to. I don't look up to the man, but I respect Tom Cruise, like, for doing all his own stunts. He
Tom
does
Cruise is amazing.
stuff. But, like I said, I don't have anyone as an idol, but he is definitely like, I would like to have his career.
Yes, that's an amazing career to have. It
Yeah,
really is.
yeah.
And because you kind of forget about how many great iconic movies that Tom Cruise has been in. I mean, over has been
Even back
probably several decades.
yeah, like, forever.
Yeah.
It's yeah, he's had a good
So,
one.
any inspirations on working on the other side of the camera, being a
Oh, yeah.
director?
Oh, yeah, I'm probably a ways from that, but ever since I was a little kid, like, when I first started acting, I've always dreamed of that. I When I was really younger and directors were more lenient with me, they would let me, like, help behind the camera. I had one little short film I did, I think when I was, like, 11 or so, and I still remember it to this day just because of how, like, cool it was for me. But he let me, like, start the recording and and do the slate and just watch with him behind the camera, when I wasn't on camera. So it's just yeah, it's definitely something I've thought about. I've tried writing a bunch of stuff. One of them was kinda I don't know if you'd call it horror, maybe action horror. Um, but I haven't finished anything, and I know I'm a ways from it, and I'd rather wait till I can make a more of a name for myself before I ever come out with something, if that makes sense.
1%. Now, I have a question. This is something I've always heard about actors and actresses. Is it tough to not have off-screen romances with people on your set, or are you one of those guys that's like, no, I don't shit where I eat?
Well, it's funny you asked that, but I've had instances, yeah. I wouldn't say I mean, honestly, yeah, it to an extent. Let's say if you're in a relationship, it's easy to say no because it's work, and that's how it feels. Like when you're in that situation, you kind of have to tell yourself it's work because if you have a heart, it's it's not fun. Say making out with another girl, or boy, whatever. But I don't know. I've had experiences where because I'm single. I haven't been in like a super long relationship with anyone, even like for a long time. So I just live life. But I'd say it is a little challenging. But if you're in a relationship, if you have integrity, it's not. It's not because it's just
Just work because I've always heard the stories that this actor hooks up with this actress and it's only lasts until the end of the movie, and then somebody gets their heart broken or pissed
yeah,
off because they
yeah.
think it's going to be more than it really is.
Yes. Yeah, and it's because I mean, if you think about it, you're especially, I'd say, like, method actors or even I don't know what you would call my strategy or whatever you wanna say, technique. Um, I don't know what you'd call it, but it can be hard because you're almost embodying this character that is in love with this person. And if they're doing the same thing, it can be very deceiving. Um, but for me, when as soon as that camera, as soon as the director yells cut, I kinda just snap out of it. That's something what I've learned over the years. I have some people that, I can't talk to them even after they say cut, they're still in character.
Yeah,
So it's just one thing I love that I've learned, but there definitely is something there.
something.
Yeah.
So, Cole, where can everyone find you, my friend?
Well, you can look me up on the internet or whatever, Cole Springer. I think it's usually the first one to pop up, the IMDb. I'm on Instagram. I don't post much, but it's at Cole_Springer, and then Facebook, I think it's just at Cole Springer.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Listen, you're more than welcome to come on anytime, man, and promote anything. I'm definitely going to be following you. Everyone, please follow this guy's career and please check out The Mummy Murders. I've seen it. It's amazing. Cole does a great job in it.
Thank you.
Cole, thank you for coming on to the Horror Room, my friend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Everyone, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.